जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया।
Hello and good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this webinar called Business Opportunity Over Chai. Business Opportunity Over Chai is a webinar series presented by the management of Franchise India every day at 12 o'clock in the afternoon with an aim to introduce you to a new business opportunity. Today, we have an active brand called Perfomax. Perfomax is a brand committed to inspire a world-class athletic culture by prioritizing quality, authenticity, purpose, and the accessibility. The brand combines innovative, tech-driven designs with affordability to help customers transform their efforts into results. To talk more about the brand and the business opportunity, today I'm joined with Vishwas Anand. He's heading the Friend Enterprise. We also have Akash Das. He's representing the brand Performax. And we also have Rajesh, is the key account manager for South region, India. And we have Soham, the key account manager for North. But before we talk more about the brand and the business opportunity, I would like to inform all the viewers that you all have opportunity to ask questions related to the brand and the business model. I would request you to please keep on posting all your queries into the Q&A box so that we can, give you the answers of those questions. We will take up all your queries post the brand presentation. Now, I would request Vishwas to please take the lead and set the context of this webinar.
Okay. Thank you, Bharat, and very good afternoon to everyone. As Bharat had introduced us all, so just one line of introduction that I am Vishwas and I am heading the enterprise business for the Franchisee India, and all the big conglomerates comes under this portfolio, this enterprise business. And Perfomax, since it is coming from the house of the Reliance Industries Limited, is into this franchisee Friend Enterprise group. And we have launched this brand for the franchisee options a few weeks ago, and we have got huge response on this. But to discuss this business opportunity in detail, in depth, we have a senior leader from Perfomax itself, Mr. Akash Das, is with us, who's an expert from the brand itself, and he's going to tell us in depth and detail all the nitty-gritties of this brand. But I'm telling you,
Okay, there seems to be some problem with the internet. Anyways,
we couldn't hear you. Yeah,
to an Indian sportswear and sports gear. Is my voice not coming, Bharat?
yeah, it's okay now.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So I was telling that it is a great opportunity to enter into Indian sportswear and sports gear market, and this brand is very very aggressively reaching to the pockets of the Indian market, and the brand is backed up by the latest Indian sports team captain, Mr. Bumrah, and Manu Bakar, Harmilan Benz, Ravi Dhaya, Riddhi Ford. So these are the brand advantages with the consumer perspective, and the Internal nitty-gritties and all the pros and cons and the benefits will be taken care by Akash, and how you can reach out to us then in the later part of the webinar, Rajesh and me will take care of that part. So over to you, Akash. Without wasting the time, I'll hand over the baton to you to lead this brand. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shwas.
Sure, thank you, Vishwas, and thank you everyone for joining. Just a quick thumbs up. My screen is visible, right?
Yeah, it is visible. Can you please put it into the presentation mode?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Done. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. So again, thanks for joining everyone at this time of the day. Perfomax is a sport retail brand, one of the very few homegrown brands of India. Today, Perfomax is a brand that is already closing on about 500 crores of business overall. And there is a presence of the brand across the country through Reliance Trends and through the online marketplace called Ajio, including 11 exclusive brand outlets that are already present, right? So we are here to kind of take it to scale, to make it much bigger than what it is today. And I will take about 20 minutes of your time to take you through what the brand has been doing, the associations that Vishwas was already talking about. Post which, there's the model of the franchisee that we can look at together, and any questions I will be happy to answer, right? So basically, Perfomax is a part of the Reliance umbrella, right? Reliance overall, if you know in India, if you're in India, you know that it's a massive conglomerate, of a market cap of about 242 billion across verticals like retail, digital services, media, entertainment, oil, chemicals, oil and gas. Retail, if you see, it's on the top, so it's one of the main and key focuses of the company. And within retail, the sport element is another very key element that the company is focusing on, right? The association with sports, I think, going beyond this slide, perhaps, we saw the India House at the Olympics very recently. That was sponsored by Reliance, right? In cricket, we have Mumbai Indians. In football, starting from the grassroots, there's a lot of investment happening, and the Indian Super League has Reliance as the title sponsor, right? And finally, the extreme right vertical is basically the foundation. Today, for example, we realize that sport starts from like a very early age. So the idea is to kind of honor and nurture that talent and grow it till they become elite players, right? So the foundation is what is helping them do it. Right? And that's the pyramid for the foundation program, right? Starting from the starting level, junior levels, and going up to the elite is how Reliance is positioning itself. Now, what we saw there was elements linked to the franchisee partnership through Mumbai Indians, through the franchisee leagues like the Indian Super League, right? What we see here is the Geo Cinema, which is the telecast. You would have seen the Football World Cup on this, the recent Olympics, etc. on this. So all in all, just to broadly tell you, within the sport industry, it is capturing all the different verticals that are possible, right? And where Perfomax fits in is the aspect of the consumption for the sports active wear, right? So that's the element that we're going to talk about post this. Right. The sport landscape in India, I think it goes without saying, post-COVID, we would have seen there's a huge spike in terms of, like an inclination towards sports and fitness to have a healthy lifestyle, etc. Right. So clearly, the consumption is increasing in terms of the gear and the sportswear market. In numbers, it's about 21.2 billion US dollars that it will grow to by 2028. So that's the opportunity to take. Right. And very honestly, the number of brands in the market are not enough to cater to that demand that is growing at the moment. Right. That's the bifurcation between the different categories, right? Footwear, apparel, and the sports gear. Majorly, the consumption falls between the 22 to 29 age group, and our product development and the research is all going on within that category to really cater to that kind of a market, right? Hugely, India mostly, as we say, that India lives in its villages. So a big part of the population today, is living in its villages where the organized sports sector, the sport retail sector is not really available, right? So today it's at 18%, the organized sports sector. In 2030, the aim or the wish is to be at about 38% to really formalize the sport retail market and to bring it up to 38%, right? So these are some broad metrics for the sports sector, right? Uh, in general, the retail offline market caters to about 88% of the demand, and the online market is about 12%. I think that kind of is the metric across the chain, right? Now, what you see on this is a very interesting slide where you see the extreme left. Most of the brands today that are available in India are international brands, right? All brands like a Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, German brands, American brands, etc. There are very few homegrown brands. Like you see at the bottom, on the bottom left is a Shiv Naresh, then there is a Nivea, then there is a very recent one called Techno Sport, Bliss Club, etc. But they are also very focused in certain sport categories. Like Shiv Naresh is very focused on running. Nivea will be very focused on football. Okay, but there is no brand today in that sector that is catering to multiple sports. Okay, and that is at that kind of a scale of close to 500 crore business, right? So Perfomax is that kind of a brand that is building. I would say it is not at the start line. It is maybe 30% ahead of the start line, but also a long journey to go, because there's a lot of work happening on the product development linked to sports like cricket, football, badminton, tennis, squash, running, etc. Right? So what is happening is, if you see the Chinese sport market in 1990s, it was at a stage where there were two brands like a Li-Ning and Anta, if you would have heard of these brands. So they were at a stage similar to what Performax is now. And today, Li-Ning and Anta are market leaders of China. So the Chinese population prefers these brands over international brands, of course, because of price, quality, etc., and things like that. So I would say this is where we are with Performax at the moment, and maybe 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, the aim is to really become a market leader, thanks to elements like price, quality, and huge technicities that our sport people can use and wear, right? Now, what is Performax? The positioning today, we are not saying that we are the like the price is our unique price point, like it's cheapest in the market or anything like that. In the higher price point, we saw there are brands like Nike, Puma, Adidas. In the very low price points, there are Shiv Naresh, and there's like a Decathlon, etc. Performax positions itself in the mid-premium category, right? Where today we are offering products within the 499 to 1299 range. Okay, and that's a very, very sweet price point, because anyone who's kind of going into the mid-premium sport category, etc., this is like the perfect price point to cater to. Okay, within the tier ones, tier twos, and tier threes, and so forth. What are we mastering at? We are mastering at the apparel part. Okay, a lot of sport apparel, the footwear elements. Okay, and certain accessories linked to it. Who is the target audience? The target audience, like I said, is falling between the 18 to 30 category. Okay, falls between three categories: the aspiring athlete, the committed athlete, and the everyday athlete. So anyone who's kind of looking at fitness as a journey, anyone who wants to go pro in terms of sport. So, for example, you see Jasprit Bumrah on the screen. Jasprit Bumrah very recently in the India versus New Zealand Test match was wearing our boots, the cricket shoes. So I think this is the direction that we are going in. We are making pro level products being tested by the right kind of people, and then eventually launching it in the market, right? As Vishwas was also mentioning to you, one of our key aspects, there are two key aspects that are happening with the brand at the moment. Okay, the one element is linked to the brand building for people, because I don't think that enough people know today about Performax. But today we are at a stage that in 2 years or in 3 years down the line, it will reach a stage where a lot of people will know it, thanks to the brand building, the number of brand ambassadors endorsing us, and number two is because of the products, right? So the ambassadors, the key figures on the screen are Jasprit Bumrah, Manu Bhakar, and Harmilan Bains, Olympians, Indian cricket star, right? Riddhi Kaur, who's an archer. Then you have Yogesh Kathunia, who recently won a medal in the Paris Paralympic discus throw. right? And then you have Ravi Dahiya, another Olympic medalist for wrestling, right? So these are very key names, and the aspect of being an aspiring athlete, an elite athlete, is what is inspired by these kind of sports stars, right? We already, like I said, we already have 11 exclusive brand outlets. Okay, what our stores look like is something like this, right? That's the entrance of our store. Um, we have categories within footwear and within textile, which you can also see on the screen now. We have women apparel, like there's a 40 to 60% split. So a 40% split is for the women apparel, which you can see on the screen also. Very high technicity textile for women that you can see on the screen, used very, very widely for fitness and running kind of activities, right? That's a view of the store overall. Okay, and this an interesting one is, for example, the one that you see on the left. We are the official merchandise partner for the Indian football team. So, for example, if you saw the India versus Malaysia international match yesterday that happened in Hyderabad, Manolo Marquez, the Indian football coach, was wearing the Perfomax jersey. We had all the team wearing the jersey that you see on the left. So that's a very, very big achievement to have the national team sporting your jersey. So I think these are certain milestones that we have been able to reach with the brand. And then there are these players who are recommending our products to their audiences, right? Now, why Performax? So broadly speaking, I said two things. One is the aspect of the brand building through our brand ambassadors. The other element is the product, right? So what we are saying is we are not the cheapest in the market, but we are extremely high value for money brand. Okay, so technicity, technical designs, relevant designs, and a wide offering at price points which are very, very competitive in the market. For example, if you see on the screen, there is a Performax Aeropace shoe, which is was 2499, and there is a Nike Windflow 10, which is at 8695. So a couple of shoes of the same technicities, similar qualities. Today we have been able to develop it at a price at of 2499, which is less than half of the price of a Nike shoe. So that kind of goes to show that today, if you're building a brand in India for sport, if you're taking it to another level, there's a possibility to make in India and really reduce your prices at the similar kind of qualities and technicalities, right? A similar example for a walking shoe of Skechers, the Skechers Go Walk Flex versus a Performax E-Walk 2. Again, it's one third the price of Skechers. Same technicalities have been. So basically, what we've done is we have our research centers in Barcelona and London, where a lot of technical aspects within sport products have been adopted. So I'm not saying these are absolutely new and these are innovated and absolutely taken up by Performax as a brand. But these are technical aspects that have been available in the market in the international market. We've adopted them and we found a way to make it at a price which is very affordable for the Indian consumer, right? uh, uh, those are the elements that we were saying right now. The slide that you see on the screen, these are elements that the customers are talking about. So this was a unbiased kind of a survey done for our brand. Okay, what stood out in terms of the quality was the aspect of the great innovation and technology. We spoke about technicality, we spoke about affordable pricing, we spoke about good value for money and quality. So I think these are elements that the customers are also talking about us in a great way. So I'm not saying today we have really reached it. So we are still saying that 61 out of 100 customers were saying this. So which means a great deal of customers are talking about it. But at the same time, it's a process of continual improvement because we're talking about sports products which are very, very technical in nature, right? Going forward, I will show you one quick video. Okay, it's about it's a video which today had about 1 million views online on YouTube.
Please play it from the beginning. Yeah.
Audio not coming, Akash.
The audio is not coming.
Yeah,
No,
audio not
you need to select the audio sharing option.
याद है
Now,
जब गेंद नहीं थी, विकेट नहीं था, तब भी हमने हौसला नहीं छोड़ा। स्टेडियम नहीं था, रेस ट्रैक नहीं था, तब भी हमने हर बंदिश को तोड़ा। जो सपनों के पीछे भागते हैं, वो मुश्किलों को कहाँ सच मानते हैं। इसलिए हमने इतना पसीना बहाया कि हमारे पास कुछ न होते हुए भी हमें खेलने से कोई रोक नहीं पाया।
2, 1.
अभी तो इतना कुछ है, अब आगे बढ़ने से कौन रोक पाएगा। जो पसीना बहाने से नहीं रुकते, उन्हें कोई नहीं रोक पाता है।
right. So I think this is one of the videos which is very close to us. It had a lot of views on YouTube, and I think that's the message. Right. So technically speaking, like I was saying, there are a lot of technicalities for the sport apparel that today exist in the foreign market, etc. These have been adopted through our research centers in Barcelona and London. So aspects like shifted seams, antibacterial, anti-static treatment, fast dry, reflective, the cool text. These are elements that have been really worked on very very well. And if you see our products, I think at one point, if you get a chance, I would love to meet and kind of show it. We had shown it in the recent Franchise India exhibition. So if you see these products, you will really see, you can feel and feel the technicities within these products. And similarly in footwear as well, aspects like the flexible sole, shock absorb for the running kind of shoes, the anti-skid elements. I think these are very very technical elements. That is so broadly speaking, I think a lot of product development has happened in that direction, and it's only improving. And what we are offering with these kind of technicalities is very very competitive for the market pricing, right? A product offering goes across sports like cricket, football, racket, running, training, and in the outdoor. So in all these categories, like I was sharing, so all the different kind of technicalities that are required for these kind of sports are being adopted through our product development, right? These are what our campaigns look like. I will just quickly run through it for you to see what it looks like, right? Right now, these are brand campaigns with all the brand ambassadors. For example, Destined for Greatness is for the Indian football team. Then you have Sweat Leads to Glory just before the World Cup, right? Then you have Hear Us Roar for the Indian football team again. Sweat for Honor, Sweat for India was a campaign before the Olympics. The official kit partner that you see here is for the Indian football team, right? We are also licensee partners so you will find that merchandise, for example, tomorrow if we are able to open an EBO with any of our franchisee partners here, you'll find this merchandise in our stores for Manchester City, the football club in England, football club of Barcelona, which is in Spain, Paris Saint-Germain, which is in France. So a lot of these licensee partners are also there that who kind of have their products today sold at our Perfomax stores. Right, these are some of our the event partnerships across the country. Now the most relevant part. So today our presence is if you see all the yellow dots around the bottom category, the west and the south region. These are all the exclusive brand outlets. So we have 11 EBOs, mostly densified within the southern and the western region, right? And we have one in Delhi in the north. However, we have 1008 Reliance Trends outlets where we have Perfomax in the shop-in-shop category, right? So about 500 to 600 square feet of area where today you will find. So this is kind of catered more or less across all states and cities, right? And it is also delivering to customers through the Ajio portal, which is online. Right. Now, the most relevant part. So today our presence is if you see all the yellow dots around this the bottom category, the west and the south region. These are all the exclusive brand outlets. So we have 11 EBOs, mostly densified within the southern and the western region, right? And we have one 1008 Reliance Trends outlets where we have Perfomax in the shop-in-shop category, right? So this is kind of catered more or less across all states and cities, right? And it is also delivering to customers through the Ajio portal, which is online. Right. In terms of our proposed network plan, so what we are looking at is as a priority. Okay, today we might have people from different states also, but as a priority where we want to kind of knock on before the others, perhaps being Northeast and West Bengal being the highest priority of 25 stores. Bangalore being 15, etc., and total basically in the next between 1 to 1.5 year, we are looking at opening 110 stores through the franchisee model, right? Now, what the network plan looks like for these store openings is basically this is the one in the Northeast, right, which is mostly densified around the Assam area, okay, and then maybe 1 or 2 stores across, all the other states in the Seven Sisters, right? Then this is the network plan for Bangalore, which is the second main priority. Um, I will quickly just go through it. What we can do is Soham or someone from the team can have the PPT shared at any point if someone wants to see it. And also when I say these cities, it doesn't mean tomorrow if you are in a Rajasthan or if you are in a let's say a Punjab, today we are saying that we don't want to do it. We are always open. But as a priority today, if we had to kind of set down about 5 places, we have set it down like that. And if there is an opportunity to open about five franchisee stores through a partner in a different state, we can always explore it and we can take it forward, right? That's for Pune. This is the foothills around, the Punjab, Haryana area. Then you have Hyderabad and Vizag. Then you have Delhi NCR, right? So these are key locations that we're looking at. Now, moving on to the franchisee model. Um, Basically, we are looking at a multi-unit franchisee model, a minimum of 5 stores ideally, okay, in the FOFO or FIFO format, which is franchisee owned, franchisee operated, or the franchisee invested and franchisee operated model, which approximately will be an investment of about 3.6 crore, right? Approximately about 73 lakhs per store. The payback is about a little less than 28 months approximately, okay, and the return on investment after the first year is 21%, increasing to about 29-35% in the subsequent years. What is the margin for the franchisee partner? The margin is 38% on MRP, okay, plus there is an incentive model which can be discussed on once we see interest from the party, right? This is an outright model. So basically, we are offering a stock correction, which is seasonal of about 10% every season, right? Our other terms are mostly the same. It's going to be a lease agreement that we sign for the property, agreement tenure about 9 years, lock-in of 2 years, and the registration cost is something that we will bear 50/50, right? The store is of 1,200 square feet, 1,200 square feet. The revenue considered per month is 1,100 rupees sales per square feet, which amounts up to 14 lakh monthly, right? In terms of the investment breakdown, I told you 73 lakhs is the total investment. The breakdown is 36 lakh, which is at a cost of about 3,000 rupees per square feet. Because it's an outright model, so the total inventory cost is about 29 lakh. Right. The deposit, the security deposit that is to pay for the property is about 7 lakhs that is considered, and there is a sign-up fee of about 1.5 lakh, which is non-refundable. So that overall totally amounts to about 73.5 lakh. Because it's a FOFO model, so all the recurring expenses are to be borne by the franchisee. Okay, and you can see it on the right. Basically, all things into repair, maintenance, insurance, salaries of staff, housekeeping, etc., the utility bills, etc., are done by the franchisee partner itself, which is taken to about 49 lakh, about 50 lakh, you can say, approximately. And basically, all of this has been considered already, looking at which there is a 21% return, right? This is all, and also of course the last part, advertising and promotion. So I think I spoke a lot about our brand ambassadors, etc. I think those kind of campaigns are continuously going to go on. So centrally, a lot of work will happen in that direction, which will automatically support all the stores which we will open eventually. Okay, and if there is interest, we can always discuss certain synergies. Today, if you want to open 5 stores or 10 stores for the brand, we can always discuss synergies on how we can share cost on doing some marketing activities locally as well, right? So it's a flexible model. We can always discuss how you want to kind of go about things. In case you have certain ideas on what you have seen, maybe you want to do it differently, etc. We can always discuss it. We are open to having discussions. and to see how to kind of make it work, right? The main objective is to really go to scale. Why we want to do it is because the speed at which we can go with a franchisee partner across the country. You saw 110 stores across different geographies in the country. I think the speed and the expertise that a franchisee partner brings for their kind of territories across the country is going to be manifold, right? So I think that is the main objective behind this, and and that's all from my side, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks so much for the detailed presentation. Akash, we also have like a few questions in the chat box, right? Would you like to answer?
Yes, I'm just opening it. Okay. Okay, so minimum budget, I think that, okay, so some of the questions I might have answered. Minimum budget, I think I've already answered. Sir, uska 36 लाख रुपए का खर्चा है for the capex part, ठीक है? And because OR model है, stock का cost करीब 28 से 29 लाख रुपया है, 28 to 29 lakhs, right? How does the franchise differentiate itself? So main competitors, like I said, within the price category today, it is a unique brand that falls in that category. However, I showed a couple of comparisons for a shoe like a Nike shoe versus a Perfomax shoe. I showed a comparison between a Skechers and a Perfomax shoe. I think mainly I would say there are technicities that we are kind of able to master, but we are able to master them at a price which is perhaps half or maybe one third of the price of the competitors, right? So maybe if you ask me who are close competitors, I would say a Skechers is a close competitor, a Puma is a close competitor, and these are brands that we are able to really compete with. And maybe in the lower price category, maybe there is a Decathlon that is a competitor. But again, I think the product development is happening in such a way that today we are really neck to neck. And the market is so huge that today there is a lot of demand for the active sportwear, I think. So I think even if there are a couple of competitors, I think the edge would remain, and there's a lot of market to capture with in spite of there being a couple of other brands as well. Okay. Please talk about stock correction in detail. Basically, what it means is today, if I have a stock of 29 lakhs at the end of the season, I'm left with let's say give and take about 6 lakhs of stock. So 10% within that stock is something that the brand will be ready to take back, right? This is something in detail. If you want to kind of go into detail of the overall picture, we can always sit and we can kind of discuss it in further detail if there is. If it answers your question, it's good. If you have any other question, also please let me know. This is Shoikot, I think, right? So I think 10% is seasonal, and whatever is the leftover stock, 10% is what we will be taking back. That's the entire point of the seasonal stock correction, right? What is the meaning of stock correction? So again, meaning is basically because it's an outright model, so you are buying the stock upfront, which is about 28 to 30 lakhs roughly. Within that stock today, if let's say you have sold 20 lakhs worth of stock and then 10 or 8 lakhs worth of stock is becoming dead, which is something after giving discounts, etc. also you've not been able to sell. So within that overall stock, we will be able to help you with a stock correction of about 10%. Having said that, today we are looking at a multi-unit franchisee. So if you have 5 units of franchisee within a certain territory, let's say within Andhra and within Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, or within the Northeast, you have about 5 stores. So there's always synergies possible between the stores, right? And when I see 10%, I think as a brand today, like I told you, we have Reliance Trends, we have Ajio, etc., where we are selling. So if today if we see that a franchisee partner is stuck with a lot of stock, we will always be there to help. But on a metric level, on a total scale level, I think 10% is what we will be able to take back every season, right? At the end of every season, in terms of the total value of products left, right? So that is what is the stock correction, right? We are discount. So a good part about the discount part, I think thank you for mentioning it. So we've not mentioned it here, but 50% of the discount support is given by the brand. So 50% is taken up already in the model, after which, of course, the ROI has been derived. Over and above that, 50% is what the brand is also offering, right? And the 21% of return that we have mentioned approximately is also after taking into consideration an interest on the security deposit and interest on the stock. So in spite of taking those as cost lines in the P&L, we have derived a 21% the return on investment.
Okay, now we can also take a few questions from Q&A. So we'll start from like Raghuram has asked, like, any plan for Tamil Nadu and Kerala?
In our network planning, we haven't put it as a priority, but Raghuram, I think if you have some opportunities that you want to discuss with us, we are open to those. So one good part about our brand is that today we are not very, very specific about certain cities and only the premium tier ones or anything. We are a brand which really wants to reach the masses, in every corner of the country. So even if you want to go to a tier 3 town of Tamil Nadu, perhaps it will be always beneficial to have maybe more than one store, which is about the minimum model of about 4 to 5 stores. So it will be good to have within like a within 5 towns around the place to have about 5 stores. I think so that will help. But having said that, today if there is a tier 3 town, tier 2 town within Kerala, within Tamil Nadu that we want to kind of explore, that you have to kind of offer, we will definitely be happy to explore it with you. And likewise for other states as well, Rajasthan is not mentioned there. So states like Rajasthan, Goa, Madhya Pradesh, if we have people from there, like there are cities like Bhopal, Indore, Gwalior, Jabalpur, etc. I mean, we are more than happy to discover it if you have some proposals from your end.
Okay, someone has also asked, like, if somebody don't want to take 5 stores immediately, can we discuss like 2-3 stores
We can.
to
So
start with?
see the good part is if you take 5+ stores, right? There is a good incentivization model. I've not mentioned it here because it's variable, but it's about a 12% incentive that is offered on the cost of goods purchased. If you do anything less than 5 stores, then the incentive model comes down to 6%. So I think that is the difference. But yes, I mean, today if you want to explore 2 stores or 3 stores in the beginning, I think that is also possible. There is no problem in it.
And what would be the criteria of selecting the property?
See, we today, for example, there are certain. If you see in the network plan, all the main hotspots are kind of mentioned in that. So mainly, the main criteria will be to kind of be within that space, okay? And then there is a spec sheet that I can then eventually share with you, which has basic things like your height, your frontage, certain rental expectation, etc. So these are certain expectations which I can then, once you have some interest, I can share it with you as a checklist.
Okay, now we'll take another question from Sudhakar. What is your differential strategy for Perfomax, Reliance footprint, and Reliance store stock?
Right. Just before I answer that question, so for the previous question, the minimum metrics to make it easier for you, minimum metrics is we need a 1200 square feet area, give and take, plus minus 10%. That is important to know. The rental that we have considered for our kind of price points is close to 140 rupees on the higher side. So that's why it kind of today, if I go to a Phoenix, if you know Bangalore, if I go to a Phoenix Mall of Asia, or if I go to a DLF Mall of India in Delhi, so these are places where maybe the rentals will be very high. So my price points will be able to kind of justify rents close to about between 120 and 140 rupees. Okay. Frontage, etc. is all variable. We can always discuss it. Some a basic minimum of about 15 to 20 meters is what we are looking at, and a height of close to 12 feet is what we are looking at, right? So these are the basic commercial basic specs. Of course, details is something we can take it later. Sorry. So to kind of simplify that
So
question, I answered
do we
it,
have
yeah.
any checklist to, just to ensure that we have selected the proper location? Why? Because Reliance is very much choosy about,
Yeah.
having
See,
this.
in terms of location, the deck that you saw right now, the locations are mentioned there. So I think that is very concrete. If you have any properties within those locations, I think we are absolutely good to go. Okay. Over and above that, within the property specs, I think there's a technical spec sheet which I can share with you. Okay. But location wise, the network plan is very, very concrete. And normally for states where we don't have, which we have not mentioned in the network plan, mainly we're talking about high streets, okay? Commercial centers, high streets, or malls is where we want to be. Yeah, to simplify it. Right. So
Akash, there's a question. Yeah, you're completing that. Please complete.
no. So I think so. There was another question after that, which I kind of cut. So if you can just repeat that question, I will answer it as well.
No problem. I mean, we can start from the top to bottom. Like we have Ronak Jain has asked, what kind of support and training does Performax provide to its partner? Can you give more brief about FIFO model?
So look, the difference between FIFO and FOFO is pretty simple. FOFO is franchisee owned, which means the property is owned by the franchisee. FIFO is basically franchisee invested, which means the franchisee partner doesn't own the property, but will be taking it on rent. That's the only difference. And people use different terminologies, but this is what we mean basically. Either you own it, franchisee owned, or you rent it, then it's called we call it franchisee invested.
Okay, and his second question is, what is the unique feature and benefits of Performax that set it apart from the competitors?
See, again, I think I briefly spoke about it just before this.
True.
One of the key elements is the aspect of very technical and highly relevant designs for people who are practicing sport at price points which are one third. So that's why I said there are competitors like a Skechers or a Puma or perhaps certain Decathlon products. Okay, so we have similar technicality, similar technicities which we are able to offer at prices which is half, if not one third. So within that, between that category of 33% to 50% is where we are in terms of the price category. So I think we have a big price advantage. We are not the cheapest. I'm not saying we're the cheapest brand in the market, because cheapest then also compromises quality. We are a very high value segment today. So for example, for a 499 that I offer a jersey today, the technicalities that I will offer will be available in a Nike jersey, which is about 3,000, which it will be available in a Puma jersey, which is about 1,400 to 1,500. So that's, if you ask me, one unique price point. I think that this is one of the most unique features that kind of makes Perfomax stand out versus the other brands.
By the way, Akash, since we already selling these products in the trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would make the difference opening a store?
See, today, for example, a lot of people today Trends is a place which is selling fashion and to some extent lifestyle. Okay, Performax is a brand which is a sports brand. We are positioning ourselves as a sports retail brand. So today, if I want to buy a running jersey, I might not enter into a trend store, right?
Okay.
But today, if I want to buy a running jersey or a football jersey, I will in future walk into a Performax store, because today Performax is not a fashion brand. It is not. It will sell a bit of athleisure, but it is mostly a sports brand, and the positioning is only as a sports brand. Out of 1,000 products in a trend store, maybe 50 or 40 products will be which will be from Perfomax. Okay, so that's the percentage of sport category within trends, if you can imagine. So right today, if I go into a Reliance trend store, I will never go in to buy sport. But when I walk into a Perfomax store, I will always walk in to buy sport, number one. And number two, my range and my variety that I will offer in a Perfomax store will always be much higher than what I offer in a trend store. So these two elements are very important to note for anyone who's kind of looking to partner.
Right. So opening a store gives you an exclusivity of that particular brand, right? You will have bigger range of the products
Bigger range
that
of
you
products,
won't
absolutely.
find in trends.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anand, Rajesh, you have any
Akash, Akash, there's a question. I mean, this is a very important because somebody has written. Can you please explain the margins once again? Because this is what they are going to pitch to the people. I mean,
Right. Look, broadly speaking, the margin, very simply put, today we are looking at a sale of 14 lakh, right, per month, which is close to 1.6 crore per year. Okay, that is on the MRP. On the MRP, there is a margin of 38%, right?
Okay.
Plus, there is an incentive model, okay, which ranges between 6% for anyone who is doing less than 5 stores, and it goes to 12% for 5+ stores. Now, how does that incentive model work? That incentive model works on timely payment, on turnover performance, on customer happiness, and then there's one more element. So I think these are certain elements basis which the incentives will work. Okay, and it is something that will keep all of us motivated to kind of go for it. And this is how it works. And this 6 and 12% is basically the percentage is on the cost of goods purchased, right, on the WSP wholesale price. So that is the margin model. So that is the broad scope. Now, of course, whenever you kind of have interest, you can let Rajesh or Vishwas know. Let's get in touch, and I will take you in detail, because right now I'm telling you very broad figures, okay? And those broad
Okay.
figures are with some notional rents and all that taken. Tomorrow, if you tell me, okay, there is a property which is at 120 rupees rent, 150 rupees rent, etc., in a certain place, we can always go in detail in terms of doing the entire mathematics. But broadly, to answer your question, it's 38% plus 6% if you do less than 5 unit stores. It's 38% plus 12% on the 5+ units.
Okay, great. So it's a handsome percentage of incentive the brand is offering. I think more or less all the questions have been covered.
Right. So, still, in
yeah.
case if someone would like to get in touch with us to discuss one-on-one with the brand about the business model or any such kind of queries related to the brand, you please get in touch with our call center number, that is 9717683838, or you can write to us feedback@franchiseindia.in. I would also request Rajesh and Vishwas if you could also share your number in the chat box so that someone can directly contact you in case if they would like to have any discussion. So I think almost we have already covered all the questions.
I'll just answer
Um,
one more question. I'm sorry. There's someone who's asking, what about Jharkhand, where people are not known? So yes, I 100% I am in agreement. Cities like Jamshedpur and Ranchi, Bokaro, Dhanbad, we are happy to explore these areas as well. Like I said, for the other cities and states, if you have options, you can please let us know, and we will be very happy to explore.
Perfect. So let's give audience to opportunity to get in touch with us, right? That will be the best way to get in, get more and more information about the brand and the business opportunity. So in case if we already have done, it's time to end this session now. Thanks so much, Akash, for being available for this webinar and sharing the brand details and the business opportunity. I would also like to thank Vishwas and Rajesh and Soham for being available for this webinar. So that's it for the day. I already have, I think Rajesh and Vishwas has also shared his number in the chat box. If anyone would like to get in touch with them, please call them. If not, then of course, our centralized number, 9717683838. So that's it for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for being available for this webinar.
Thank you.
And thanks so much, everyone.